Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for watching. We've told you about a big problem in the skilled trades. Tonight, we'll tell you about some solutions. Plus, a team of air cadets is fighting to save an historic building. We'll tell you about their campaign to move the structure itself. Windsor has a new medical officer of health. I'll chat with Dr. Mehdi Alouche later in the program. And a second gardening story for you this evening. This time we'll meet a newcomer from Iraq who's making use of a community garden. With more people retiring in the skilled trades in the coming years, there's a big push to bring new talent into the fold. I looked into how students and guidance counselors are becoming part of the solution. Abby Droulard is working towards becoming a welder, and she's only in grade 11.
My father is a mechanic, and I loved watching him make things, fix things, build things, and I wanted to do that myself, make things to produce things that can help others or can be of use to others. I really like that idea.
At 17 years old, she's on track, doing a placement here at Ricoh International, a company that specializes in automation. She's taking part in the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, or OEAP, through her school. It's a way for high school students to start an apprenticeship in the trades while still in school and then graduate with a diploma and as a registered apprentice.
I'm getting pretty excited because I'm doing it so often and I'm getting better at it and I enjoy it the entire time.
Ricoh currently has 10 students doing placements with them, from welders to machinists to IT students, all through OEAP. The company says it's part of its succession planning, all while a third of its 200 staff members are looking to retire in the next 5 to 10 years.
So then you take this program and you bring it over to the CNC machine, you load the steel inside there.
Guidance counselors with the Windsor-Essex Catholic District School Board are learning about CNCs at St. Clair College. It's all part of a workshop organized between the board and the college. The goal? Help counselors better understand what the trades are all about.
This experience has been just really eye-opening for me, not only as a guidance counselor, but also as a parent.
Drop it down on this side.
Guidance counselors got hands-on experience learning about new tools and working with machines.
We oftentimes, want to direct our kids in a certain pathway, right? Especially if they are really high academic achievers. But what this opportunity is showing me and is exposing me to is that any student, any type of skill set, any type of academic pathway, this would be a really wonderful opportunity for them.
She hopes students get to visit the campus and see what it's like for themselves.
Having this experience will open conversations, not only with their teachers and their guidance counselors, but more importantly, oftentimes with their parents who, again, are maybe pushing them in one direction, but not realizing the different opportunities that are so beneficial to them at the college level.
With the OEAP program, for the kids who are involved in it, how many of them actually go off and do this out into the real world?
It's an extremely high percentage. Students who go in the OEAP, it's probably 95% or higher. Because they're a registered apprentice at the day of graduation, most of them have the job waiting for them the day after because most of those employers are actively looking for students coming into the trades.
McKaney says the trades come with satisfaction and financial stability.
We know the debt that can be incurred going to university, and not everyone has the means to go to university or will be paying that debt off for 8, 10, 12 years or more. If you're to come out of a trade with no debt whatsoever, you're getting paid while you're doing your schooling.
Hourly wages can range from $20 to $30 an hour or more. McKaney says certified tradespeople who are unionized can make 30 to 35% more than that. That's a big part of why Nicholas Schneider signed up for OEAP. He's working towards becoming a plumber. What is it about it that's got you excited?
Just probably the fact that I don't have to go to school for that many years. Get to go straight into work and start making money.
Tell me more about some of the other things that you enjoy about it.
Yeah, the work, it seems the time goes by pretty fast when I'm doing it, and all the guys I work with are good, so it's pretty fun actually.
The college itself is also part of the trades recruitment process, working with schools and employers.
In general, our trades programs are on a rise, whether that's heating, refrigeration, whether that's in our robotics field, whether that's in the welding, whether it's in carpentry, woodworking, and so forth.
But some areas are seeing a dip, like mold making.
We have international students that are coming into those programs. that are certainly trying to fill a void that we're seeing in the community.
Meanwhile, the province also just announced new projects to get more people into the auto sector as well. Free programs to train people in areas like electric vehicles, machine operation, and assembly, and help them land jobs in the field after that. For young people like Droulard, they're looking forward to the possibilities ahead.
I just like how I definitely feel more of myself, like it's not a big pressure. It's something I definitely have a passion in and I want to continue doing, and I love how I could be here and do it, and I can work and like just get experience and knowledge. It's just really awesome here.
And you can learn more about that story on our website. The Air Cadets of 535 Archer Squadron in Leamington have kicked off a fundraising campaign to move their training facility. It sits in the path of a soon-to-be-built housing development. And as Del Molnar reports, they need to save the building for its historic importance.
Squadron sit at ease. Squadron attack jump.
Air Cadets with the 535 Archer Squadron held their last review and inspection ceremony in their H-Hut training facility in Leamington Wednesday night. It also kicked off their fundraising campaign to move and preserve the two wings on either end of the building. Officials say it's the last surviving building of its type from World War II that is still in use by the military. The facility was originally built at Windsor Airport and used to train pilots, such as flying ace Tom Brannigan, for whom the terminal is now named. The squadron leadership says the building is too important to tear down.
By tearing down the building, I think we're really doing our disservice because we're going to lose that recognition that Canada played, and specifically Windsor played, in training pilots that actually had a lot to do with World War II.
But moving the buildings won't be cheap. Early estimates between $350,000 and $500,000. So they are looking to the province and federal government for help.
We're looking to start with applying for some trillium grants and some federal development funds, and after that we're going to be looking to community and other sources that we've used in the past for development.
Area MPPs Andrew Dowie, Trevor Jones, and Anthony Liardi were on hand for the review ceremonies last night, as was MP Dave Epp. The cadets we spoke to say the squadron means a lot to them.
I get the enjoyment of having this great squadron with me and to be supported by these people.
The history of the building is really interesting to me. It means a lot because it means I'm still carrying on the legacy that the people before me have left behind.
We have Flight Sergeant Olivia Girardin and Flight Sergeant Samantha Staines.
Members of Tom Brannigan's family were on hand and support the preservation of the building.
I think it's real important to keep this history in front of everyone and to keep it going in the future. So I'm sure my dad would be very supportive of that.
The building is now located at the old Leamington High School. The squadron has until September 1st to move it to the Leamington Fairgrounds. The provincial and federal representatives have so far made no commitments to the funding. The squadron leaders say they have about a fifth of the money raised so far. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Leamington.
The cargo ship whose engine caught fire in the middle of Lake Erie early Wednesday morning is still there. The crew of the MV Cuyahoga was able to put out the fire. 8 of her 20 non-essential crew members were brought ashore Wednesday morning by the Canadian Coast Guard. This is not the first time she has been stalled. The Cuyahoga ran aground in the Detroit River in 2007 near Amherstburg. But a boat watcher says despite her 80 years of service, the ship has been a reliable carrier over the years.
She's older, but she's equipped with everything a modern ship has. And the hull is always inspected every 5 years by the Coast Guard, and that's been certified by the Coast Guard. And in a career as long as the ship has had, there are going to be some fender benders, I like to call them, where you might run aground in the river, or you might hit a dock, or you might do something. It's the course of business, like your car.
The Transportation Safety Board of Canada will be investigating the fire. In a statement to CBC, they say they will arrive on site tomorrow. A police investigation into the former national head of Unifor, Jerry Dias, has now finished. The union leader will not be facing criminal charges. Unifor is also ending its investigation. Now, this goes back to February 2022. That's when Dias went on a medical leave after being notified about the union's investigation. It was alleged that Dias had accepted thousands of dollars from a company that made COVID-19 tests that he promoted to union members. With the investigation now completed, police say no charges are being laid, and Dias saying in a statement through his lawyer that he, quote, never made a dime outside of his salary with Unifor, and I have always lived by the union's code of conduct. Now, we want to correct the timeline on a story that we shared with you last night. It's about the 2 new electric buses coming to Tecumseh. These buses are replacing diesel ones, and this project was funded partly by the federal government as well as contributions from the town. Last night, we said that they will be on the road starting June 1st. However, the buses are only being ordered now, so they aren't expected to be ready until next year. Ontario will soon pay some residents to lower their air conditioning during peak summer periods. That's part of a new energy conservation program announced today.
With an estimated 600,000 smart thermostats already installed across the province of Ontario, families across the province will be able to benefit from peak perks while helping reduce demand on our provincial grid.
Households with smart thermostats can opt in for the Peak Perks program starting in June. The province will hand out $75 prepaid credit cards to families who sign up. In exchange, they would grant the thermostat manufacturer access to their device between June and September. Thermostats would be adjusted by 2 to 4 degrees for up to 10 times between that window of time. The ministry says the changes will only occur on weekdays for up to 3 hours during peak periods for electricity. The Windsor Essex Health Unit finally has a new medical officer of health, Dr. Mehdi Alouche. He's taking over from former acting officer, Dr. Shankar Nesaturi, who was in his temporary role for the last year and a half. Dr. Alouche, who comes to Windsor from Hamilton, has lots of experience in public health and as a preventive medicine specialist. And he joins me now in studio. Thanks for being here, Dr. Alouche.
Thank you for having me.
This is a really great opportunity for people to get to know you a little bit better. So tell us why you wanted to take on this role.
When this opportunity arose in Windsor Essex County, I contacted Dr. Ahmed and Dr. Nesaturi, who I knew in the past, and I asked their opinion. They gave me very good information in terms of how organization is working, the culture in the organization, public health organization, and Windsor Essex County. So I learned that there are excited workers, very knowledgeable people working in the health unit. Also, I learned around collaboration with the university, which can bring research into the public health work. Also knowing about the socio-economy of the region. There are lots of things happening. Mega hospital, lots of new Canadian will join and come to the region. So all of those things led to that decision.
Okay, and we know that COVID-19 has been at the forefront for the last few years, and I just wonder, for you now in this role, moving forward, what is the biggest health issue for you?
Yeah, as you mentioned, COVID-19 has affected all of the individual businesses, all of the people and communities. Going forward, just making sure that COVID is under control. I think that there are other priorities, like sexually transmitted diseases are on the rise in Ontario and Windsor Essex County. We are seeing things that we were not seeing in the past. We see opioid crisis, also mental health issues, vaccination. So all of those sort of things are some examples are that are my priority going forward.
During your first Board of Health meeting, you spoke at length about HPV. Can you talk about why that's so important for you to get that message out there?
HPV can cause cancer. Several types of cancer, cervical cancer, oral cancer, pineal cancer, lots of different cancers. And we have a vaccine for that, and we can eliminate that those cancers, and we can protect our kids and our young adults by vaccination in the school years. That's free. And I think that we should do that. We should invest in that. We should work together to do that vaccination and protect population. There are other aspects to this conversation, which is doing safe sex, sexual behavior, doing screening, pap smear, those sort of things. So these are other discussions that we can have beside the vaccination.
Okay, and what is the uptake on the vaccine for HPV in our region? It's
around 60%, which is really good for our school age, but the evidence shows that, and some of the research shows that if we keep that over 90%, beside other activities like screening and treatment, then we can eliminate. So we can save 200 lives just for cervical cancer in Ontario, and many other, anxiety by the cancer, anxiety by other issues. Genital wart is another issue. So it's not just cancer, it's lots of things around it, and we can prevent that.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate your time
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Mehdi Alouche, Windsor's new medical officer of health. And now we take a live look outside at another beautiful sunny day. I'm loving this streak of amazing weather. And Colette will join us after the break with more. Stay with us. Since May is the month to garden, we spoke with people across Windsor about what they're planting, and we heard how, for some, growing vegetables connects them to their roots. Last night, you met a couple that's been growing the same garlic for 35 years. Tonight, you'll meet a newcomer from Iraq who is using a community garden.
I am an agriculture engineer, and I had experience in Iraq. I worked for many kind of gardening, indoor, outdoor, vegetables. It's my job, and it's my hobby. Here I will plant many kind of vegetables, and I want to grow some flowers around the. It helped me in my life, yes, it helped me.
How? In what ways?
By protecting these vegetables and give something to food bank and another thing to my wife and my mom. My mom, 90 years old. I want to do something for Canada. I love Canada. Thanks, Canada.
Colette Kennedy joins us now. And Colette, before we dive into local weather, you were dropping some knowledge yesterday about typhoons, and unfortunately some technical difficulties got in the way, but it's back in action tonight, so I'll let you take it away.
Well, let's hope. Fingers crossed here. Yeah, I was trying to drop some knowledge, but just dropped everything. So let's see if we can do this. Now, on a more serious note, what I was trying to talk about yesterday, and I will now, is super typhoon that passed across Guam. Now, there actually was a very strong storm, it still is, but it weakened just a little bit as the eye wall was regenerating as it passed the island. And now look at how clear that is. You can see that imagery as it strengthens again. Still, they were looking at, 300 to 400 millimeters of rainfall and wave heights over 7 meters. So incredible stuff here. Even though it is strengthening, it's in the Western Pacific, pushing towards the Philippines. It doesn't look as though it's going to pose an issue there, as we're hoping to see this weakening once again, but it's back to super typhoon strength there. And that's what I wanted to talk about yesterday too, is just to explain what's the difference between a typhoon and hurricanes and cyclones. It's just a matter of where it is in the world, where it's occurring, in what bodies of water. So in Northwest Pacific Ocean, we talk about typhoons, as I just did. Of course, we're more familiar in North America with hurricanes, and that's what we deal with not only in the Northeast Pacific, but the Atlantic hurricane season, which starts next week on June 1st. And I'm going to get into the predictions there for what the season will be like in just a moment here. And then there are also cyclones. But again, it's really just having wind speed strength over 119 kilometers an hour. And we see these a little bit in the Northern Hemisphere, but primarily we talk about cyclones into the Southern Hemisphere. All right, from NOAA, these are what the predictions are for hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. Named storms 12 to 17. You see what would be average. Hurricane strength 5 to 9, and major hurricanes 1 to 4. So essentially, they're kind of thinking it's going to be a normal year. So things are going to balance out. We're likely going into an El Nino with cooling waters in the Pacific, but we've got unusually warm waters in the Atlantic. So I think that's what they're thinking. It's going to kind of trade it off and make it a normal year. But with climate change, we have to watch the strength of those major hurricanes and the damage and destruction they do. Back at home, there's actually, frost advisory nearby. It's not everywhere in southern Ontario and not into southwestern Ontario. Some vulnerable plants you might still want to protect. Other than that, there's not much going on other than the temperatures were a bit cool. Below seasonal, can you say northerly flow? We've been into that, and everything kind of turns around tomorrow. And really, we're just getting into a situation where this ridge of high pressure sets up. We get clear skies at night, sunshine during the day, especially if we don't get the smoke coming back, and it has pushed away in the upper atmosphere. So 7 tonight, still a little cool. Tomorrow morning, 13, but getting closer to seasonal, 22 tomorrow. And then the trend is dry and temperatures building and heating up through the period into the beginning of June. Katarina.
Beautiful forecast. Thanks for that, Colette.
You're welcome.
When we come back, a spelling quiz that you won't want to miss. That's after the break. In this world of autocorrect and predictive text, the spelling bee continues to buzz along. Hundreds of students will be in Washington next week to see who is the best speller. And one of them will be Windsor's Isaac Brogan. The grade 5 student won the regional competition, and he's ready to take on North America's best at the Scripps spelling bee. But before he heads out, we had him on Windsor Morning for a quick quiz with Nev Nanwa.
Isaac, I thought it might be cool to give you a little bit of a warm-up this morning.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Were you expecting this or no?
No, but
Okay.
that seems fun.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a couple words, maybe 3. Right. I'll give you 3 because
Okay.
we're watching the clock, and let's see how you do. So the first word that I'm gonna give you is the word jealousy.
Jealousy. Does this mean like envy, kinda?
Yeah.
Okay. Jealousy. Jealousy.
Wow. I think even I get that one wrong. Okay, here's a tougher one. Valedictorian.
Valedictorian. VALEDICTORIAN.
Okay, you're 2 for 2. Last one, a favorite amongst our very own Tom Addison. He likes putting this on his salad. Vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette. VINAIGRETTE.
Wow. Okay. 3
I remember
for 3.
that word.
Was that a word that
Yeah.
came up? Oh, it did.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that, so don't think I gave you an easy one. But you seem like you're ready. These words were like instant to you. You didn't even have to think about it. And also, I noticed that when I asked you about jealousy, you wanted to know the meaning of it. Why did you want to know that?
I was just making sure because some words have homonyms, and you could be asking me like a homonym for jealousy. I don't know if there is one, but there could be. So I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, that's really cool. So you kind of have this whole thought process to it, which is really cool. What are you most looking forward to with the competition?
I'm looking forward to like actually spelling my words, but I'm also looking forward to possibly making a few friends and maybe a pen pal or two and meeting some new people.
Isaac, you got this, buddy. And I also just love hearing that he's enthusiastic about the idea of pen pals. I had a pen pal back in the day, and I love that. I love hearing that kids still do that. That is it for CBC Windsor News. For more, go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor, and you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.